It's top of the hour, and it's time for Making a Difference. On this program, we explore people in our community and the difference that they're making in other people's lives. I'm your host, CJ Metcalfe, and today we're going to explore Divine Global Recovery. They are an intervention organization that comes in after disasters, and with hurricane season right around the corner, perfect timing. I'd like to welcome my guest, Mr. Pete Oshea.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, CJ. How are you?
Hey, we're doing great. No hurricanes yet. um, Pete, about divine global recovery. Let's talk about this in depth. I know that you're a nonprofit organization and that you're there to help people that are devastated by a disaster. Now, does that is that limited to hurricanes, or does it include fire, sinkholes? What scope of help do you offer?
We'll be because our parent company, Nice Rest, we also do fires
We're
and
having
sinkholes and all that. So wherever they're going to go to help people, that's where we're going to go with them. And so we'll go wherever the need is and help anybody. After that disaster, that everything is ruined, they've lost everything. We just want to be there for them and love on them, bring them some food and water, but mostly bring them some hope, put an arm around them, bring them some love, bring them a little bit of peace, and just kind of be there for them.
Now, what area do you cover? Is it just the state of Florida, or are you national, international? What area do you cover, Pete?
At this point, I'd say we're national, anywhere in the country, but for the most part, the southeast here. So figure from, let's say, Tennessee on back down to Florida, in that range, all that area there. That's mostly the area that Nice Restoration covers, and so that's mostly the area we'll cover. Having said that, now, if this was last year, we might have been gone to Texas when the pipes froze, if we were already ahead of time. We'll try to see wherever the need is, and we'll try to meet it.
Okay, Divine Global Recovery. When was your inception date? When did you actually form that division?
That began officially March the 1st is when we became a corporation and got our EIN number from the state and began from the IRS and began our 501c3 paperwork. So we began March the 1st. So just a little over a month ago. And it's been an exciting month. We've already gotten lots going so far, including our first event and a little volunteer corps. We got our website, Facebook, all that up and going. And I get to be on this fantastic show, one of the best people in town, you.
Thank you. Now, do you work with other agencies in the area as far as assisting in these services?
We have begun reaching out to other nonprofits here in the area, like Bulldog Strong Foundation. When all else fails, I also went recently and met with the city manager and everybody here at Punta Gorda to offer our assistance for beach cleanups or park cleanups, or anybody that might have a code violation that needs a cleanup, we'll help them out too. So we've been reaching out to different agencies. Because of your wonderful connection, I'm meeting with the Military Museum tomorrow to see how we can help that wonderful organization. We don't want to reinvent the wheel in a lot of ways. We just want to walk locally. We want to walk alongside the fantastic agencies and nonprofits that are already in existence.
Well, in order to do all of this, it costs something. It costs something for you to have an office and advertising and flyers and things like that. Where do you receive your funding for your operational costs?
Well, initially, early on, Nice Restoration is funding it. Again, they were the ones Dina and Chet Nice, it was their heart to start this. They know that they had done well in the restoration business, and they saw firsthand the pain, the suffering that people went through. So it was their heart to start this. So initially, they're funding it, but we will, as we grow and get to the point where we are allowed to, we will begin taking donations and seeking funding from grants and that kind of stuff. But right now, it's from the hearts of Dina and Chetnice.
Wonderful. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we have a family that is displaced, either through one of the natural disasters of hurricane, sinkholes, fire, um, what can you help with in particular with that displaced family?
Well, we can help them with a lot of different things. We can, first thing is Dina and Chet are experts at looking at their insurance policies if they have one, and we can help them get free hotel rooms, get all the benefits that they're entitled to. Then we'll help them with food and water. Then we'll help them with clothing. We'll also help them with just love. When we go to these areas, our goal, CJ, is to set up almost like a mini mobile community center where they can all come down, hang out a little bit. Maybe we'll have some singing. Maybe we'll do some comedy. Maybe even some preaching. Who knows what? We'll have a little bit of a thrift store there. They can come and get some clothes, get something to eat. We want to make a spot where they can come. Mostly what they need is to be loved on, to know that there's hope, that they have a chance, that they can rebuild again. And if we can just help them with a few things and then put an arm around them and love on them, we're heading them back in the right direction. And sometimes that's what they need more than anything else. There's so much shell shock after you've lost everything. It's such an emotional thing. And over the last 10 years, I've been trained in this in outreach by Life in Action Mission, which is the nonprofit my wife and my father-in-law started. And so we've become really good at that outreach when the person is shell-shocked and emotionally, been through the ringer. There's a way to approach. There's a way to do it. And that's what we want to do, is just put an arm around people, love on them, and get them those basics they need: food, water, shelter, and clothing.
That's really wonderful. You tweaked my ear a little something there. With the outreaching that you do, and you talk about putting an arm around and giving encouragement and hope to these people. Is this a religious affiliation of some sort? Are you connected to a church, or is this just non-denominational?
It's non-denominational, and we're certainly not advocating to go in and evangelize or pontificate. The Life in Action Mission, which is the 501c3 that we're under right now as we grow our own, again, that was started by my father-in-law, Pastor Dan, and my wife, Pastor Shannon. That's certainly a Jesus organization. And I believe very much in my heart about in Jesus, and I just believe in the basic principles he taught us, which was to love one another as we love him. And so that's the only part of it in my mind that's religious, is that mindset, is love one another as we love him. And we're just looking to be there for people and love on them. So the 501c3 I came from, yes, that has a very much strong Christian undertone to it. This one, no, this one's non-denominational, but there are Christians running it.
Have you? I know you came out of Tampa, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is kind of a branch off of the organization up in Tampa. Now, have you been able to help anybody in that short month that you've been here?
We haven't really helped people. I think we're putting in the things in place to do so. So we've got our volunteer crew, like I said, of about a dozen people, and we're training them on how to do it. We're reaching out to the right people to see. And then the goal with this event we've got scheduled, our first event, will be to help our first person after that. We're going to do an art contest on May the 6th at the PG Social House, and the theme is Mother Nature. And then they'll do a shake for us that night that we can raise a couple of bucks. And whatever we raise, we'll do an environmental cleanup here in town. And our goal is to find somebody local that really needs our help. Maybe someone that's about to get a code violation, or somebody who's elderly, or a veteran, somebody whose yard is overgrown and they're in bad shape. We want to go in there and then help that person. So that our first person that we're going to help is right around the corner. We've spent this month getting ready.
You spoke about this event being at the PG Social House. Would you elaborate on the location of that? Do you have an address where people could go on May 6th?
Yes, I should do. It's at 124 Cross Street right there in Punta Gorda. If you know that wonderful place, PG Social House, they have two stores. They have the furniture and gallery kind of store, and then they have a candy and ice cream store. And we're going to do an art contest there on Thursday, May the 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. Anybody in the area is welcome to enter. You have to do a drawing, a painting, or a photograph about Mother Nature. It can be no larger than 11.5 by 17, and it must be family friendly. You can enter up till the day before. Everybody, when you enter, you'll drop it off there at PG Social House. And then that night on the 6th, we'll have a voting and we'll have contests. And the winners, first, second, and third prize, there'll be prizes for the three winners. And we'll get a chance to, again, take the money we raised that night and go clean up somebody's yard or take care of an environmental cleaning of some kind. Help out somebody here in this area. It'll be our first foray of helping people.
Okay, and if people want to drop off, this is a great thing for area students. If they want to drop something off, how should they label it so that it's identified as their project?
When they come in to drop it off, there'll be a form for them to fill out with their name, the name of the art itself, and everything we need to know about them. And then we'll be able to label them all for them that night. So all they have to do is drop off their piece of art and fill in the little form. It'll just be name and, like I said, their information. And then we'll make up little placards that night, and everybody can pick out the ones they want, put them in the barrel, and the winners will get their prizes. And it's just a great way to showcase art in this area and to talk about what we believe in, which is taking care of Mother Nature. We don't want to be able to help people with floods. We wish there weren't any need for that, but there is, because we have ruined Mother Nature. The environment has been destroyed. In the last 10 years, flooding went from a $6 billion problem to a $10 billion problem annually. And that's because we have not taken care of Mother Nature. So that's why we wanted to make the contest that, and that's why we want to do a cleanup afterwards that also shows that we're trying to look out for Mother Nature and our environment.
Pete, I'm taken back. This is just wonderful what you're doing. If somebody wanted to volunteer, how much travel would be involved? Would it stay locally? Would any of, if they had to go out of town to help somebody, is it strictly volunteer, or would some of their expenses be covered?
Right now, volunteers we're looking for would be strictly local. We don't want to ask anybody to go beyond their reach at this point. So when we do this cleanup, when we do these events, we'll be doing some, I'm a stand-up comic by trade, so we'll be doing some comedy shows. Hopefully we'll do one over there at your military museum. And so we'll need folks to help out. When we go to the actual storms, at that point, obviously, no expenses would be necessary for the person. We'll cover their food and where they're going to live. We're going to bring RVs and that kind of stuff, and whatever we need, generators and all that to keep everybody going. And it'll start out slow with that. We'll go with just a few people, and we'll build that up. But anybody who wants to volunteer locally, we would love to have people be involved in this, especially.
Okay, hold on a moment. We're having a little technical issue with the sound. We should be able to get that fixed up here pretty quick.
I hear you now pretty good.
There we go. You're back.
We're back.
Please repeat what you just said. The sound was cut off.
Volunteer that would love to help us, we would love to have you. You can call 844-99-DIVINE. Or check out our Facebook page, Divine Global Recovery, or go to our website, divingeglobalrecovery.org. Anybody local who wants to help us out with the cleanups that we're going to do or the events, we would love to have you. And then, yes, the relationships can build. And then eventually, if they're interested in coming with us on a storm, we would love to have them. And again, they would incur no expenses on that. Don't know where I'm at with pay for everybody for those kinds of things yet. Again, we're a month old, but eventually we will have a full crew. When over the years here as we build
this is very exciting. Now, on your website, you have a place, I believe, where people can click on if they want to volunteer or assist with this in any way, and you're asking for their email, name, and everything like that. Let's give them your website address again.
Sure. It's www.divineglobalrecovery.org.
And if people have donations, maybe food, clothing, you want shelf stable food, I'm assuming, what
Right.
your canned and boxed items,
Right.
some plastic bags of like pasta. If they have clothing, maybe some coffee pots, things like that, that they would want to donate, whereabouts may they take that?
They can drop them off here at our office, which is at 6529 Florida Street, right here in Punta Gorda. We have also the Nice Restoration has a huge warehouse in Tennessee, where eventually all of our in Delano, Tennessee, where all of us will be putting our big amounts of donated supplies. So we're already talking to folks like Walmart and this and that. And if we can get pallets of donations, that's where we'll be storing big stuff in the warehouse in Tennessee. But locally here, they can drop stuff off at 6529 Florida Street in Punta Gorda.
And if we have some philanthropists out there who would like to support this cause and they wanted to donate, walk us through the steps of being able to donate funding.
Yeah, they can do that. And even though we're 501c3 pending, we will have it within this year. We have an excellent lawyer helping us with us. And so they would still get the tax deduction. It goes retroactive back to when we first got our EIN number, which we received back in the end of February. So they would all qualify. And again, they can reach out to us by phone, 844-99-DIVINE, or they can go to the website and email us, or they can go to Facebook, or they can just come on by again, 6529 Florida Street. My personal cell also 727-710-4094. But if you call the 844-99-DIVINE number, it comes right to me anyway. So reach out. I'd love to come meet with anybody who's interested. With anybody on a large end like that, a philanthropist who wanted to help us, we would give them an active role as much as they want. We would certainly full tax deduction as well.
Okay, do you have the tax deductible receipt that they could receive if they wanted to donate right now before your final 501c3 is in place?
Yes, we do. They gave us that kind of stuff. So yes, we have all that in place already. So they would get an automatic thing set to them once they donated, and then at the end of the year they can turn that in and they would get that tax deduction. So yeah, we would love to see people get that because it's good for everybody. It's good for the economy when all that happens. So we would love to see that. Anybody who would want to help us, we're looking to help families. That's the key, guys, and they need it. If you look at what happens after a storm, these folks are devastated, sometimes for months. Our people are on a job now that they started in Louisiana in October. They're still there now trying to put those people's houses back together.
You mentioned the kids earlier, and with summer coming on and school letting out, if people wanted to get their children involved in your organization and in what you do, which is it's kind of an extension of scouting, how do they go about getting their child involved in your mission?
I'm so glad you mentioned that because the kids that we already have involved, we're giving them their volunteer hours for their Bright Future scholarships. And they'll all have, you need 100 hours of volunteer time in order to get your Bright Future scholarship. So have a group of about 10 kids now. It started with the Nice kids, with Dina and Chet's children. And now some of their friends have joined. So all you need to do is, again, reach out to us all the ways we just mentioned and say you'd like to volunteer. We have our volunteer meetings every Friday at 3:30 right here. We have one this Friday, 3:30 at again, the 6529 Florida Street. And we'd love to have more volunteers. Any young people that want to come out, we will each week. You'll get your sheet and we'll mark it off how many hours. Even if it's a planning session, you still get your hours for that. And future scholarships.
And so scouts also can come to you and help?
Absolutely. We would love to have that. We would love to walk alongside someone who was maybe getting their Eagles badge and they needed some help, or they wanted to come and help us because they have excellent training already. We would absolutely love that. The group we have now is a lot of fun. They're a good group of young people who really care and have become a little team. They've already gotten real close with each other in just a couple of weeks. So it's that really cool bond and camaraderie that you can get, kind of like scouts or a youth group or whatever, or an after school program. That's what we're trying to put together here also. Our goal is to help those kids. They're our finest resource. They're the best thing we've got.
Okay, and then real quick here, I need for you to tell me, you gave me the address of 6529 Florida Street. Well, Florida Street is kind of a little secret street over there in Punta Gorda. And can you're right off, you can access it off 17, I believe. Is that right? I'm a blonde. I get confused in directions.
You can, right? You'd make a left right there in Florida, and then we're a couple seconds from there.
Okay, Pete, I'm going to have you go over. Oh, there it is. Our tech team brought that up for you because you were breaking up. We were having some technical issues with the sound. So you get to it off Carmelita.
Yeah, if you come in Carmelita to the high school, all the way down to the end, you make a left on Florida, and then we're right there. 2 seconds after that, you'll see us on the left-hand side.
Okay. Well, that's great. Now, what do you have coming up? You've got the event, the art event coming up. Do you have anything else in the makings and the works that we should know about?
Again, what we'll do after that is some sort of a cleanup event where, again, our volunteers are going to out there, and then I'm hoping we're going to do something with you guys. I'm going to come see the military museum tomorrow. We'd love to do something where we help them. My dad was a veteran. I just lost him a year ago, and it means everything to me. Freedom's not free, and so we want to support the military museum. So that'll be our next thing to do after we finish the art project. Will be to do something with the military museum.
Well, I know, like the various cities, such as Punta Gorda, when they have some of these major events like parades and things like that, they can always use people that would help clean up. So your organization is just wonderful, Pete. I hope to have you back on the show at a later date to talk to us about more things that are coming up and availability, especially when we get into the hurricane season. Of course, that's going to be crucial. But thank you for being here. I look forward to talking to you again. And this is CJ Metcalfe. We're signing off on Making a Difference.